Good evening, everyone, and welcome to session 2 of Everything Within You Melts Away, our little attempt to do Turgenev in good society because, we're just going to be on the death march of 19th century Russian authors until we either get tired of this or, we run out of Russians. There are a lot of Russian novelists. My name is Kat. This was my idea several years ago. I am now actively proud of it, so improvement over time. I am going to introduce our cast, less one, as we are waiting on Daryl to arrive. So why don't I just, with no further ado, start off with someone I am always happy to share a table with, and now I get to do that more often. So please, let's welcome Richard, who's playing Prince Sergei Leonidovich Zinoviev.
Hi, I'm Richard, and I'm playing Prince Sergei Leonidovich. And he is Sergei, who prefers to go by Sergio, his name in Italian, recently returned with his protege from the continent, or his mentee, not really protege, where he has been directing his family's business affairs and living life without the overbearing family expectations that he has to deal with in Russia. So he's really just absolutely delighted to be back, and we'll see how he does with the upcoming events.
That was very earnest. Thank you, Richard. Let's go next to someone who consistently makes sacrifices of their sleep to play with us. We are honored always to have him at our table. So please, let's just welcome Leandro, who's playing Victor Sievslavich Volkonsky.
Hi, hello. I'm Leandro, as aforementioned. I'm playing aforementioned Victor Sviatoslavich Volkonsky. Vidya to his friends. He's just your average Russian, I guess, not really an old railroad tycoon on his way to being not one of the bigger ones, but he makes a fine living. He's quite, he's of sufficient means. He might be a bit soft spoken. He's worried about his wife, his son, his estate. His I guess kind of semi-ward who plays the piano at his house. He's got a host of them, and I'm sure it's going to turn out well. We have precedent for these things turning out well in these games for sure.
And at the very least, he probably won't be dueling his own duplicate at the edge of time and space. So that's definitely a step up from the last time.
Kingsport, where are you?
Massachusetts.
Fair. Yeah, it's always been there, I suppose. Except when sometimes it's at the edge of known waters.
Huh. Okay. Let's go next to someone who's been a constant collaborator of mine and now has her own collaborator. the lovely and extremely cute dog Emmett, but we prefer to play with Serafina, who is a lovely person as well, and is playing the very lovely Count Arkady Ilyich Karavasov.
Hi, yeah, it turns out I have a dog. It's weird. I'm Serafina. I use she, him pronouns, and I'm playing Count Arkady, who's just a consummate boy. This is Emmett. And Arkady is, very young. He's the youngest in our cast this time around, at just 20, and he behaves as though he is young. He has a big old butthurt about Princess Vera not marrying him back in the day, and instead choosing his father, which is gross. And so he's got a lot of feelings about that. I just mean it's not that she's gross, but that the plot point is a gross plot point. I'm real into it though. And so that's where he's at. He's sort of back in Russia after many years in Europe doing a prolonged grand tour because he didn't want to be around his terrible father, who is now dead. So, don't have to worry about that anymore. Yeah, that's him. I'm sure he's not going to destroy anybody's life, and everything's going to be cool. It's going to be great.
I think it's just wild that this whole double incest plotline that we're working on is half from Ivan Turgenev. So yes. Oh, and look at this. And we're now joined live and in progress by the last member of the cast, save me, a charming person who I wish I played more with, and I guess that's all my fault for not reaching out more. So I'm gonna have to fix that in this new year. But please, let's welcome Daryl, who is playing the lovely and charming Marina Stanislavna Volkonskaya, who has absolutely no secrets or dark sides or anything.
Hello. I'm Daryl, and my pronouns are they, them, and I am playing Marina. I don't actually know if Marina has a nickname or not, but I like everyone just calling her Marina because no one's close enough to give her a nickname. Yeah, so, as we said, Marina definitely doesn't have any secrets, especially not like an illegitimate child who is maybe one of the other main characters, whom I'm definitely not meddling in the love life of because I definitely want them to have like the best of everything, whether they like it or not. I think towards the end of it, we've established that Marina is basically a little bit like, gaslight, gatekeep girl boss as far as things go, as much as she could be in Russia at the time. So, yeah, my plot is to get my definitely not daughter Vera married off to a very rich financier that happens to work with my husband, whom I am married to. And that's all I can really say about that relationship. But here we go.
Everything will be fine. Also, it was not on my name list, but Marina does not seem to have a pure nickname. It has a ton of diminutives. Probably the easiest one would be Marisha. Anyway, totally coincidentally, I am following that for no reasons whatsoever. My name's Kat. I use she, her, as does my character, the charming Princess Vera Petrovna Semyonova, who is sad. She's very sad. Her father's dead. Her fiance, the guy she thought was going to propose to her, didn't, and she can't tell him why because that would expose all their families to terrible dishonor. So she's just going to eat this one for the team. Her foster mother's kind of terrible. But luckily, the neighbors are very sweet, and she calls Marina her aunt, and they've become closer and closer these last few years, strangely enough. So, for absolutely no reason. There's reasons. Okie dokie. So, when last we left off, we managed to get all the way through the epistolary chapter. Yes. So now we're on to the novel chapter, and in the week we had off, I pointed out that we are smack dab in the middle of the American Civil War with our chosen start date of like 1863-ish. Also, there were a lot of Germans in the American Civil War. Also, Russia had a lot of Germans. It's like a huge trope in 19th century literature. They're very often made fun of, but we don't have to do that, but it's like a trope. And also, Russia was the only country of the major powers in Europe that unambiguously supported the Union. So I'm just pondering as an idea a ball held in a wintry Petersburg night, maybe with a couple visiting American either naval officers or military attaches from the embassy, held by a German society to raise money and awareness for the brave German boys fighting for liberty. After all, we are in the era of Alexander II, the Tsar Liberator, who liberated the serfs of Russia in 1861, as well as the great emancipator, President Abraham Lincoln. So, yeah. And this does seem the kind of place that Vera would be able to get into, since most of polite society, even though she's out of mourning now, has been not paying attention. So this would be a time skip of several months. I'm thinking this should probably be after Christmas, just because, that makes it even gloomier. Yeah, nothing like a nice wintry night in Petersburg when the sun goes down at 3 p.m. The temperature never gets above 20 degrees of frost. So,
Winter in Russia, just romantic as hell.
I mean, it's real easy to forget how far north a place like Petersburg is. But like the summer nights, there are times in the summer where basically there's no night. It's just twilight. You never have the sun up all day, but the sun will go down, and then like for 4 hours it's just bright, and then it comes back up again. And conversely, in the winter you have 6-hour days. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I hate that. I think it sounds great. I'm down.
So in terms of cast, I would definitely think that we would have Mom, and then Mom, meaning Marina. Oh yeah, there was that thing where Daryl made a man for us.
Oh, Baron Kirill Romanovich Voroshilov.
So I don't know if we're ready for that to be there. I think Arkasha and Vera have to have their fight now before before we have our tearful confession in the rain. I want a confession in the rain this time, Serafina.
I'll give you one.
Oh yeah.
I will give you full-on Notebook vibes, but first we have to have a crazy bitch-ass fight.
I don't know about what other people think.
I am glad to go as Sergei or Lev or both.
We can just have a assumption that everybody is here, and I mean it makes sense that Raiza would be here too. Maybe not Papa Zenofiev. All right. So where shall we begin this? I mean, obviously with the toast to, the Tsar Liberator, Alexander II, and the Great Emancipator, President Abraham Lincoln of the United States, and a Russian band trying to make their way through the Star-Spangled Banner, and we'll gather around the flag, the whole songbook of Civil War melodies.
All played in a minor key.
They have students from the St. Petersburg Conservatory playing, so the playing is excellent. It's just they have no idea what the hell this stuff is. So where shall we focus this in on? Shall we begin with an arrival, in media res, somebody bumping into somebody else?
I have just one question before we start.
Yes.
Who wants to play the girl I bring?
Oh my God.
Her name is Svetlana.
I mean, if nobody wants to volunteer for this, I will take it because I need the opportunity to flirt with Serafina, even if our caddy doesn't pay attention to me.
I feel like I'm the one that should be proactive about this, but I'm really like Vera, I think, is just standing off to the side, waiting for somebody to maybe talk to her. I mean, Marina, if nobody else, Raiza potentially, because we haven't seen her on screen since she berated her sister to please leave the house.
Go outside.
I have gone outside, sister.
Or even Sergei. Because we haven't really seen the Sergei-Vera chemistry.
No.
And he strikes me as the kind of guy who would be generous enough to stop and have a word with her.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Also, because if I'm having a word with you, then I'm hoping Arkasha won't make a scene.
Has he even shown up yet?
Who?
Arkady.
No, not yet. He's going to grand entrance it like the absolute queen that he is.
With both Svetlana and Lev hanging around you?
Oh, I'm pretty sure Lev is already at the party and was
Okay.
trying to horn in on all the speechifying and toast.
Of course. So maybe this is, there's a waltz happening, and Vera is as she has been for the last several, hours, or for a while, just standing off to one side.
I think
Uh,
at that point,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, do you want to jump in there, or like Marina can swoop in and make your day infinitely worse?
Or I could be with Mama. Yeah, let's
Oh.
see that. Let's see that energy. That's what we're here for.
That'll be the good build-up,
Yeah.
because I think love has designs.
Yeah, so throughout this ball, because there happen to be quite a number of Germans, dear Mama Maria has been making sure that her darling Vera has been meeting with all the most lovely and eligible nobles who happen to be here. There's there's not as many as she would like, but you have to find someone of respectable character. Maybe we come into like after we've just talked to, I don't know, a Jonas Schwarzberg. There we go, Count Schwarzberg. And Maria's just like, Vera, darling, I'm hoping that Count Schwarzberg's I was quite hoping that certain aspects of Count Schwarzberg would have been enough to perhaps
Mama,
catch your attention.
Mama, you're
or
speaking
perhaps
Russian. You're speaking German again. Could you say that again in Russian, please?
Vera, darling, was Count Schwarzberg interesting to you? He seemed nice.
I should hope that at the age of 60, he's learned how to be nice to young women.
Fantastic nose, doesn't he have one?
Yes, he has certainly aged like fine wine.
I'm glad you can see that. He did smell quite a bit like fine wine, didn't he?
If you mean he seemed expensive, yes. I don't know, Mother. He danced well, though he doesn't really know how to waltz. I think he's a Protestant.
Well, in Petersburg, perhaps beggars can't be choosers, Vera. How about the Baron Augustenberg? He had quite a noble profile. I thought.
He's at least Lithuanian, so he spoke Russian.
I suppose if Russian has to be a requirement.
It's just, my German's not very good.
Well, that could be rectified.
How could one language have 9 definite articles? It's ridiculous.
I think Mario will like speak this next bit in German, and disclaimer: I don't know anything about German. I'll defer to you, Kat. But Mario will shout very loudly, "It allows for a breath of character, darling." Loud enough for most of the ball to hear.
Yes, Mother. I know it's the language of science and technology, and we would do well to learn it, but Mother, this is Russia.
I'm not saying, and Mario's back to Russian, trying to like just appease you, I guess. I'm not saying that it's not a complete requirement, but it would certainly make you a bit more distinguished in the eyes of not just Russian society.
What do you want from me, Mother? Do you want me to have to live in Germany? and leave Russia and convert or something? I don't understand. I don't know. I guess you're right. I can't be a beggar. I can't be a chooser because I'm definitely a beggar.
I hope you do understand that given our position, there are certain options barred from us, and we'll have to think of different ways to expand those options. And perhaps brushing up on your German would help in that regard.
Yes, mother. Oh, look, isn't that the Countess Turnentaxis? Didn't you want to play a game of Boston with her?
Oh, I do believe that lady does owe me a game or two. And I think she turns to the Countess and shouts something loud and crude in German. And I think before she goes to you, she'll say, "Now, I won't be gone. This thrashing should be quite thorough and quite quick. But once I'm done, we will need to talk to the Supplenberger family. I'm sure I've known them quite well since I was a girl, and I'm sure they'll be quite well to listen to our plight. Now, we'll see you in a moment."
Zum Befehl, Mutter.
Unless somebody has something else to do, I think I would like to arrive. Would you mind if Sveta and I talk a little bit first, or do you want us to just...
No, yeah, you should definitely arrive, and I'm not there to talk to you. I just get to see it ripple through.
That sounds awesome. Okay, great. Yeah, so I think, we get out of my carriage and I like very gallantly sweep you inside.
So to introduce Sveta, also known as Svetlana Stanislavovna Kalganova, who is 24 and Arkadi's paramour. She is stunning, well-bred, and absolutely sure of herself. She's a recent graduate of the Russian Musical Society and a coloratura soprano who specializes in music that is distinguished by agile runs, leaps, and trills. Her personality matches her singing style, and she has shown up in a beautiful emerald green dress that resembles the dress of the character that she performs in one of the currently performing operas.
Fantastic. And I think because he is a peacock, he has dressed to match you. Yeah. So as you step out of the carriage, he says, "May I say again how lovely you look this evening?"
Oh, you cad, you're always giving me such compliments, but that outfit does look dashing on me, doesn't it? And she gives it like a little spin.
It does. Quite dashing.
And she even like runs a hand across like the jewels that are like adorning her chest, and it's like, yes, and these are especially lovely. I'm so glad I was able to borrow them from the performance hall.
Do they often let you borrow costumes?
Let me borrow, that's one way to look at it. I prefer to think of it as advertising for the play.
Well, you are certainly advertising it well.
Well, and with you on my hand, with you on my arm, I'm sure that we will get even more people to attend tomorrow's performance. It's such a shame that I came down with a cold and couldn't make it tonight.
That is such a shame. My goodness. It's almost as if you had a previous engagement.
I wonder how things work out that way.
It's honestly a miracle. Your voice sounds as beautiful as it does right now. Modern medicine.
Yes, truly. My doctor should get a raise.
Yeah. So I think as we is it one of those, I guess it's a party where you like get introduced, right? At the door kind of deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I would guess so, especially since you're a noble.
That's more. Yeah. So we get introduced at the door and sort of sweep into the room. And I think, are you recognized? Like, are you like famous enough yet that people like know you?
I've got some young upstart energy going on. And I mean, like the Russian Musical Society has been building its reputation for the past like 4-ish years. And, the Tsar has previously given us his blessing. And so the students that are coming out of that are gaining reputation. And I'm one of them.
Great, fantastic.
Do you
So,
have a
yes.
nickname in Italian yet?
I'm sure I do, but I won't speak it in public.
Rude. Great. So yeah, so we make our way through the crowd. Should we come across Vera now-ish?
Maybe Arkady goes to the punch bowl.
By himself or with?
Yeah, because you can definitely
Oh, yeah.
bring me back to meet her, or she can come swooping in like a bird of prey.
Oh, that sounds excellent. Okay. Either one where I actually think her sweeping in is better, but let's just go with it.
I will wait for the perfect moment. Don't worry.
I believe in you. So Arkady, after receiving all of your accolades, he like leaves you to some adoring fans and goes to get punch or champagne or whatever it is he can scrounge up, and runs across Vera at the table.
Vera is wearing midnight blue and has her hair styled very kind of plainly. It's just braids and ringlets, and she's just sitting. She's been parked by the punch bowl for a while now. She looks up and sees you, of course, goes completely pale again.
I think if you were paying close attention, which she might be, his reaction, like to anyone else, might seem like seamless. He just sort of walks up, notices you, and then goes to do his thing. But if you're paying attention, you can see like a flash of some sort of like deep, unnameable emotion, and then he says, "Vera, good evening," and starts to fill a punch glass.
Count Karavasov, I had no idea that you had become a prisoner of war here.
Well, one does what one must.
What on earth would lead you to such a disappointing evening as this?
What, do you not find freedom a worthy and achievable goal?
Arkasha, she doesn't even realize that she called you by your nickname. You have to remember, I was the one that first gave you Schiller to read. Of course I'm interested in freedom, but I was hit upon by an American colonel by the name of Williams or something. He was the most abominable type.
Well, the people that we seek to free may not always be exactly what we hope them to be.
No, I just end up... And she realizes that she's talking to you and gets all flustered, like, I'm sorry, I should probably go back and find Mother or Aunt Marina. Or
Retreating from the field of battle so quickly?
Surely I am not engaged in any struggle with you. If it was, I would already be hors de combat.
I meant more. You tend to go to them when you are feeling less than social.
I'm always less than social now, Count Karavasov. There's nothing for me in society.
Not even the promise of a dashing German husband? I'm sure your mother would be thrilled.
If that is to be my fate, doesn't matter, does it? I'm just damaged goods. And she clearly wants to run away at this point.
Arkady Ilyich, am I destined to die of thirst? Where is my punch? Oh, hello, who's this?
Yes. Svetlana Stanislavovna Kalganova. May I present Princess Vera Petrovna Semyonova?
Princess Semyonova, it's such an honor to meet you. Oh, and what a lovely dress.
Oh, I had the honor is all mine. I had the pleasure of hearing you sing a few weeks ago. That was the new Verdi opera, I believe.
Oh, you saw that? Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I hope it was the night that I didn't mess up the verse in the second stanza.
I would not have noticed. I confess my Italian is quite poor.
Oh, well, our caddy here definitely picked up on it, teased me mercilessly about it for days.
Not
Yes,
days, an afternoon.
It was
indeed.
days.
The Count has a remarkable musical ear.
He sort of a little sheepishly hands over the punch and says, well, I don't know if remarkable is the word for it, but I have been somewhat successful in that
Oh, more
arena.
than successful. Knows all of the words to all of the songs that I've been singing, can even dance along to the tunes. As a matter of fact, our caddy, we really must talk about dancing. My card is already filling up, and I want to make sure that I can monopolize your time.
Yes, that would be lovely.
Yes. Well,
Perhaps
dear,
it's-
will you take a turn with us at some point?
If the Count asks, I can't see how I could refuse him, of course. We are old friends. We used to be old friends.
Oh, Arkasha, you simply must dance with her. I want to see that dress spin around.
This is it's nothing quite as elegant as yours.
Darling, let me tell you, costumes make all the difference. It doesn't have to be real. You just have to wear it like it is.
My aunt would prefer I wear real clothes, I suppose.
Some people like that, I assume.
I'm sorry, you are talking of women's fashions and it is quite beyond me. Perhaps I will grab you later for a waltz, Vera.
She gives a little curtsy and says, "Of course, as you will. I shan't impose upon your time any longer. It was such a pleasure to meet you, Madame Kalganova." And she just runs away. Swirl dress.
Then she turns to Arkady and says, what a delightful little field mouse. I hope you don't tease her too much.
I used to.
So, how did the lovely couple do these parties?
So I think this is a thing that we need to suss out. Did you drag me here? Did I drag you here? Or did Raya drag both of us here?
Ooh,
The third thing.
yeah. Like I don't know if Victor has any love for Americans or Germans. I guess in terms of business, railway lines can't cross the Atlantic just yet. So
Much less the Pacific.
yeah, true. Either way. Yeah, so yeah, Raya would have dragged us here, and gosh, like when we came in, did we like how long do you think we stuck together before we broke off, or like is this like the moment where like we're, or do we, or is this scene gonna be like when we come in or later when after we've been apart for a while?
I like the idea that we have been there for a while, and that we've done our rounds and we've said hello to the people that we're allowed to say hello to, and that maybe we're like sitting at a table or something, and I'm just being my usual kind of like nosy self, and I'm just saying probably something like along the lines of, "Why is Arkady Ilyich talking to Vera?"
Oh, is he? I haven't seen him.
Oh, darling, he's right there.
Oh,
dressed
wow.
like a fop again, and of course has like some like bauble on his arm. You can hear her tittering from here.
Oh, wow. I thought someone had brought the dog along. Well, he's certainly he's certainly quite distracting. Well, if he's with clearly he's with someone, then we don't have to worry too much about him and Vera, do we?
No, I guess that is. I suppose that is the one benefit of seeing his face here.
Are you okay? Do you want a drink? I can go get a drink.
Victor, we shouldn't have any more to drink.
That's fair. Do you? Vera seems a bit put off. Do you think? Well, we don't need to intervene. She's well able to take care of herself.
There are plenty of people in this world who are able to take care of themselves, and yes, Vera is one of them, but she shouldn't have to. I'm going to find her a wonderful match. Did you see the way that she and Kira Romanovich were talking to each other at your investment dinner?
Oh, well, she certainly seemed. She doesn't look like what she does look like now, and sorry, let me double check. That's Baron. Baron Romanovich seemed quite interested. Well, not to gainsay your matches, dear. I'm sure it'll work out. Have you thought about what I mentioned? Count Arkasha's mother proposed to. Well, if you want to match Vera, why don't you match him off with someone else? I guess suppose he already has someone, so it's a moot point. But if you're concerned about him and Vera, why not solidify both of them away from each other?
Because he's a singularly unlikable individual. Who am I supposed to match him with? Where am I supposed to match him? I would very happily try to match him off of Russian continent if I could. And yet here he is showing up with some new girl whom I've never even seen before.
Well, I suppose that's fair. I suppose I'll just tell his mother that I won't repeat what you said.
Don't tell her that. I'd never be able to live it down.
No, absolutely. I wouldn't.
No, Clara is a lovely woman. I mustn't speak so ill of her.
I think Victor is like trying to think of any nice things to say about Arkady. Oh, can I? Let's see. It's not really resolve tokens here. Let me double check.
No, but you can spend whatever your reputation tags.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. I want to spend. I think I'm gonna say amused expansive positive tag, and this is related to before Marina's letter to her own husband, who probably lived together. Victor was all in on Arkady and Lev hanging out. So I just want to spend this expansive tag to have like right in view, Lev comes in and starts having a chat with Arkasha. Right in view of his parents. We don't have to see them actually. We don't actually hear them talking, but I just want Marina and Victor to see that. If that's okay with folks.
I love it. The champagne flute that Marina is holding like quavers, and like the champagne splashes a little bit, and like even like tips down the glass, and she sets it down very, very firmly. And turns to me and says, Victor, I thought we had agreed that Lev was not to spend time with Arkady Ilovich.
Yes, we agreed to that. I'm not gainsay you on that. I did pass on my most firm admonishments to Lev, and well, you know how he is. One puts a barrier in front of him, instead he sees something to pole vault over. The larger the barrier, the more he's challenged. He seems to be pole vaulting over this particular barrier right now.
Darling, I trust you to help him see sense. That is, after all, one of the things that I love about you is your sense.
Yeah, I think like when these compliments hit him every now and then, he's like, oh, was that an actual one? Yeah, exactly. I'll be sure to talk to him. more firmly. Well, I'll, I'll I'll use my business voice. There we go. I'm sure he
Please do.
respects that.
Yes. I mean, I have heard the way that you talk with your investors, and you are able to very eloquently and clearly lay out all the reasons why they should give you very much money for all of these trains. And I very much find it an endearing quality of yours that you can be so convincing. Please convince our son to not do that.
Well, I'm glad you believe I can be quite convincing to your investors. It just so happens with family, well, one tends to get a bit soft with family, but I'll do my best. I'm sure you're right that Lev doesn't need any more undue influences on him. And well, given I was hoping to let the Count Arcady work in the office, but that probably shouldn't come to be if. Well, it's just that his mother had asked, and well, who am I to say no to the Countess Sergeyevna? I'm sure I can lend my most deepest apologies to her.
If Marina's looks could kill right now, you'd be 6 feet under. Yeah. She picks up her champagne flute and downs the contents, and then waves down a waiter and has them bring over another bottle.
Yeah, I think Victor will be one to pour both of them. Maybe there's a moment where it just Victor's gonna down his his.
Wait, if you're okay with it, I would love it if like you attempt to do that, and Marina reaches over and takes it from you and says, "Darling, your gout." I can't wait for you to stand up to me. It's gonna be great.
Dear God. Yeah, that's perfect. So I think I'm in a corner listening to some American officers trying to speak very bad French to me, and clearly bored out of my head.
Princess Semyonova.
I turn very happy to hear somebody speaking in Russian, and then my face doesn't fall because I'm tremendously well bred. But let's just say that the road crews are shoring it up very quickly.
I am glad to see you return to society.
Yes,
Your
the
period of
term of my
mourning.
mourning has finally ended. Though, of course, I shall mourn my poor father my whole life.
I know that I could not imagine the loss you must be feeling.
Well, thank you, Lev Viktorovich. That's very kind of you.
I have found myself in possession of 2 glasses of punch. Would you like one?
Oh, how kind.
You say that as if you do not believe I am normally kind.
If I've given you that impression, I'm very sorry, Lev Viktorovich.
I believe it is myself who should be apologizing for giving you the wrong impression.
Blushes a little. I am not as well acquainted with you as I am with your parents, is all.
I have been studying very hard at university for the last, I've forgotten how long, really, honestly.
I've always wondered what happens at university.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I was coming to ask to get on your dance card, but I could tell you exactly what happens at university.
Well, in Switzerland, I understand they allow some women to attend university now.
Oh, I'm not sure that's a good idea because university is bad for everyone. Heresy and debauchery are rampant.
Oh, well, no, that doesn't sound very good. I suppose I'm just charmed by the romance of singing Gaudiamus Igitur and running around. What do they have in Germany? What do they call them? The Ratskellers?
Germany.
It's unfortunate, not unfortunate, as you know, my adoptive mother is German, and she has a great opinion of all things Germanic.
Well, you know what my father always says about Germans?
Is it saucy?
Oh, that he says they're just as scandalous as Italians, but only half as interesting.
She pauses, clearly trying to work that one out. That seems to be a poor combination, yes.
I'm sure it's a joke about Protestantism.
Well, of course, one should not joke about faith.
I suppose one should not joke about the faiths of one's dear sworn allies, like the Prussians.
I don't follow the politics that well to know who the Tsar favors currently.
I'll also confess that I have no idea if my father has actually ever said that.
Well, it is a truism in literature to assign your own clever witticisms to the voice of some great authority of the past.
I have long said that, and yet, people accuse me of lying about my father.
Well, I believe somewhere in Hegel there's a quote to that effect.
Hegel? Am I going to have to defend a thesis to you?
No, not at all. To be honest, someone gave me one of his books once, but I didn't make any sense of it.
I have never once made sense of any German philosopher, and I believe I should continue in that vein.
Yes, that's probably for the best, Steph. She looks around, clearly trying to figure out a way to end this conversation.
Madam, do you have a quadrille open?
Oh, she looks at her card. It's pretty empty. The only reason it looks more full than it is because some of the German names flow onto a second line.
Much, and
yeah.
like some of the Americans take up 3.
I believe I do have a quadrille open.
Would you be so kind as to allow me to place my name on it?
Arkady, you can jump in now that you see someone writing their name down in my card.
Arkady appears out of basically nowhere.
A cloud of cologne and handsomeness.
No, he smells vaguely of alcohol.
Count Katavasov.
Lev, it is very good to see you. I apologize for intruding, but madam, I believe it is my turn for a waltz.
I lack entirely the skill for a waltz, and so I will hand you into Count Katavasov's worthy arms.
Indeed.
And look forward to song number 7. Or to musical piece number 7.
There's like a long moment where he looks directly at Lev and goes, "Indeed," and then wraps his arm around yours and leads you to the dance floor.
All right, so we kick into full-on Viennese waltz, and
oh yeah,
she's looking at you like, what are you doing? Are you trying to embarrass me?
Why would you be embarrassed? You've always been excellent at this.
Everyone knows that I snubbed you. You're being cruel.
I thought we were being quite friendly earlier. Have I misread something?
Arkasha, you know I treasure your friendship more than anybody in the world, but...
Do you?
Perhaps you don't understand how that can be, but I assure you that it is, and I beg you in the name of the saints to accept it upon faith.
I
I'd
cannot
ask
accept
nothing
anything.
else of you.
I cannot accept anything upon faith. You see, I have no faith in God or man, or especially in woman. So if you're going to have me believe you, then you are going to have to tell me more than simply, I am your dearest friend.
I believe that in our relations, Count, I was the one that displayed no faith. Show me that you're slapping someone without slapping someone.
Yeah. Perhaps I was not clear. What I am telling you is, if you are going to claim friendship with me, you are going to have to do more than bandy words about it.
Just what are you asking me for?
Honesty, madam.
Ah. Here I had some suspicion that you assumed my state was so degraded that you could claim favors in return for a civil word.
I need no favors from you.
Clearly,
Simply the truth.
you have found your bird of paradise.
We take a turn and I say, if you think that I could ever be serious about any other woman after the things I felt for you, then madam, you do me a great disservice. But one cannot simply show up to these things without someone on one's arm. Now can one?
Yes, I'm sure that you find her most convenient. If you'll excuse me, Count, I feel quite unwell. I don't think I can finish. And she just, as is her normal move, runs away from conflict.
Whew.
But also, by the way, publicly snubbing you once again.
Yeah. Yeah, the background music, by the way, is my concert pianist roommate.
Yes, I'm familiar with that. I actually think I would love to spend one of my reputation tags to make Svetlana pay close attention to this whole affair.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
I think unfailingly correct is the one to go here. Because everybody knows that, Princess Vera never shows strong emotion.
Great.
Or, emotion. She's an automaton.
Yeah.
All right. Do we want to do Arkady
Sergei?
and Sergei, or do we want to see one of the other characters in there? Well, let's just do Arkady, Sergei, and let people think if they
Great.
want to drop something in between that and Vera.
Great.
All right.
So I think Arkady stands on the dance floor while the other dancers are still moving and stares after her and then stalks over to the bar and pours himself a whiskey.
Sergei comes and leans on the bar. I think he was announced while you were dancing, and on the dance floor, it's hard to hear the announcements. So
I was a little involved.
I do understand the Americans favor whiskey. Is this in celebration of our guest?
I've always wanted to try American whiskey, and so far, well, it fits my mood.
Made with whatever is on hand. I understand they even use rye.
Fascinating.
You look upset.
Do I? Interesting.
You do.
I apologize. My veneer of civility has cracked slightly.
I understand that the Volkonskis have some concerns about your attentions to the princess.
He hasn't looked at you yet. And now he looks at you and he says, "Oh, are you a social messenger then?
No,
Are you here to bring me to heel so that the Volkonskis feel better about the way that I treat members of their household?"
I was unaware that she was a member of their household. I understand there's some financial entanglements. I am merely a person who has not been in Russia for some time and does not know all the gossip.
But apparently there's enough gossip that people are sending you along to.
Do I look like someone who gets sent along by anyone except someone paying me?
Like the bluster goes out of him a little bit, and he leans against the bar and says, "I'm sorry, friend. She just has a power over me that I cannot describe."
Well, that's very concerning, I assume, for you. Have you thought of the romantic strategy I've often recommended to you, just giving in to the power?
Do you think that would go well?
Do I think it would go well? I have no idea. You seem to be, everyone seems to be talking about this as if I have all the context.
She jilted me.
Oh,
I guess twice now.
twice jilted.
Considering that everyone saw what just happened on the dance floor. What does it say of me that I am like a kicked dog?
It says that you're in the power of something that you well, I think you summed it up well a while ago. You seem to be in the power of something else that is not your own. I have seen you flirt with many women, and yet rarely so disconcerted and upended as in this.
I have to believe that something more was going on.
Something more was going on where?
That she would not have abandoned the promise of the two of us so easily. Maybe she simply did not love me.
You are at times difficult to get along with. That doesn't make you unlovable.
Thank you.
I take it this is why you stayed on your tour for so long and began looking for work in the
I
continent.
stayed on my tour because the idea of being on the same continent as my father made me want to do unending violence.
Yes. Fathers. They are so difficult to understand, and when their meaning finally becomes clear, you wish they were difficult to understand again.
I wonder if many men have been in my position. A father that steals the woman they love out from under them, and then at least he did me the good grace of dying. He's had 3 whiskeys at this point during the conversation.
That was a terrible thing to say, and it will not be something that I reprimand you for ever.
Well, everybody thinks I'm terrible. I might as well live up to their expectations.
Oh, please, I don't think you're terrible.
Don't
I've
worry.
been disinherited
Well,
by letter.
by letter. Oh, Sergei. They did not even have the courtesy to do it to your face.
Threats, disinheritings, all by letter. Is it any wonder I stayed in Europe for 6 years?
I thought you were disappointed in me.
When? Me? No. I'm disappointed in not knowing what's going on. And, well, I don't want to see you, humiliated before I can get you a proper posting.
Well,
I
if you want
promised
to
I
know,
would. And, if I'm disinherited, you may end up having to technically work for my brother.
well,
Abroad, of course.
I will try not to humiliate myself further before you can get me a profitable position.
I would think the promise of a profitable position would be enough to postpone any potentially unprofitable outburst.
My friend, I care less about profit for my own part than I care about keeping your good name intact.
Please, what good name? I'm about to be disinherited.
Yes, but you see, I reflect upon you. People know who you are to me.
Oh, yes. 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 Oh. Corrupting an aristocrat's son to take a mercantile position in the continent is hardly the most embarrassing thing I've been criticized for.
Yes, but what if you were corrupting the noble son into a mercantile position and he was also a romantic dolt who repeatedly embarrassed himself for a woman who cares not for him? I just don't want to compound the insult.
I think as long as you are embarrassing in all the kind ways. I understand that the princess has suffered her own loss
She has.
and only recently re-entered society. I should at some point stop over and say something consoling. Is there anything you would like me to convey to her?
Oh, no, no. I believe that I have conveyed quite enough.
I feel sceney.
Yeah.
Is there anything we want to do, or do we want to wind up with Vera and Sergei?
I feel like we need like just a little segue, like something to lighten
Yeah.
the tone. Yeah. What if Marina and Raya? What if Raya is trying to shepherd Marina and Victor home?
I would love to.
I am there for this.
Oh,
Where are Victor and Marina at this point? Like, are you sitting together somewhere?
Have we attempted to dance?
Oh, God.
We must have at some point. After all, that seems like a prerogative for a married couple to dance in one of these scenarios.
I feel like Marina is dancing adequately, but is very sour right now. Like the champagne has definitely gone to her head, and she's just radiating dark energy. Anytime she switches partners and then comes back to you, like the person like looks over her shoulder at you and is just like, "Sorry." Like,
Victor is just like sorry back. I think he is like trying to lose himself a bit in this, and is like trying to enjoy himself, but the dark energy engulfs all at some point, and Victor will just kind of like just go through the motions. It's all good, like it's a dance.
I think Raya
think
was
that-
announced while you were dancing. Like, you don't know that she's witnessed all of this.
wait,
Yeah.
yeah. So at this point, like Marina's like, going through the motions and comes back to you and is just like, Victor, why do we dance? Why do we waste our time with this? Why do we like go through these motions? They're not beautiful. They're clumsy.
But, well, it's not in the execution, but more just in the feeling of it. It's I suppose for us, we it's merely for the enjoyment of it. I suppose if you don't enjoy it, we could just stop.
Victor, I am not
Don't
enjoying it.
you dare.
Just see her like, and like literally like she stops on the dance floor, and like somebody like bumps into us. It's like it's a whole thing, and then like extricates herself and is like, "Sister, when did you arrive?"
Darling, she's a very robust woman. I won't say fat, but she's like me. She's robust. She embraces you and she kisses you on both cheeks. She says, "You look absolutely stunning."
You're lying, and it's not even a good lie.
My goodness, this color on you is gorgeous.
Victor, I want to leave.
Victor, go get us a drink.
Right. Oh, yeah, yes, of course. He hasn't even said hello. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna get a drink.
Marina, darling, we dance for joy. We dance for happiness. We dance to show the world how beautiful we are. That is
Liza,
why.
do I look joyful, happy, or beautiful in this moment?
No, but I don't remember you having ever looked any of those things. At least not since you were 19 or so.
Just glares at you even more deeply. It's like, if I'm going, I would rather dance than continue this conversation.
I'm so proud of you. You came out.
Yes, after dozens and dozens of letters admonishing me for staying home and, taking care of my family. And
You put on a new dress and you came out. What's your favorite part?
the carriage ride home.
Before that,
I suppose the champagne is excellent tonight.
champagne is excellent. Your husband's going to bring us some more. You know what we should do? I hear the gardens here are beautiful. We should steal a bottle of it and go outside and hang out outside by those torches they have lit the way we used to.
Right, it is freezing outside. It is going to snow at any minute.
I'm aware. That's why we're bringing the champagne.
And I catch Victor's eye, who's approaching with one bottle, and I go,
Victor would just like nod and go back and get another.
She like wraps an arm around your arm and says, I have 3 children and I still manage to make time for joy. And I think that you need a little childish energy in your life. I think that you need to embrace being out.
well, Raya, if I could afford the nannies that you have, I'm sure I could schedule in some time for joy.
If you would like to come to my home and take advantage of the nannies and chef and anything that you please, I would do anything to put a smile on your face. And so would your husband.
I think that she just glowers at you a little bit and turns to the side and sees Vera, who has stomped off to wherever she is, and sees Arkady slumped over a bar and says, on one condition.
Oh, what's the condition?
She has to come along.
Of course. Bring her.
Fine, we'll go to Petersburg.
Delightful. Now, you, me, several bottles of champagne, and we will ward off the cold together and tell ridiculous stories about the things we've seen so far. Have you seen what Ivan is wearing? The hat.
That hat. No, it is at least 2 times taller than it needs to be.
It is at least 2 times. You could fit a small toddler in there.
I'm not sure there's not one in there. Have you seen the way it wiggles sometimes?
There might be a toddler in there. I will give you 12 rubles if you knock it off and we find out.
Oh, I'll do it.
Oh my goodness. I haven't even gotten any champagne in you yet. It's going to be a good night.
Oh, no. believe me, really, the 2 bottles is probably enough. Poor Victor has had to suffer my tempers all evening.
Maybe 3. 1 each.
Oh, that sounds... No, his gout. We have to be careful of his gout.
Yes, but he won't feel his gout as much if he is stinking drunk.
Not tonight, but he will be on and on about it tomorrow, the next day, the day after.
Come to my
You don't have
house.
to live with him.
That is true. I don't have to live with him.
Although if I'm in Petersburg, I suppose it won't be a problem.
That is true.
Victor comes back with 2 bottles and just like
3.
Victor once again nod and go back.
That man is utterly devoted to you.
And I really don't know why.
It is because, my dear sister, you are actually quite beautiful and intelligent and organized.
Oh, that one I agree with.
You cannot be organized if you are not also intelligent.
I mean, even a clock is right twice a day.
That is accurate, yes. As is the clock.
Well, if we're going outside, I need my stole. And she stumbles forward and like turns around in a way that looks very, very casual, but is actually very rehearsed, and knocks Ivan's hat off his head.
There's no toddler in this. What's the point of the hat if not to conceal things?
Who are you?
This is why she's my sister.
Oh man, I like Raya.
All right, Sergei, you wanna do this? So, I think you don't find Vera in the dance hall. You would find her probably in whatever out of the way place she could find, probably in the hallway, or if there's a parlor she can sneak into. And she is just sobbing her eyes out. I mean, it's full on bawling, ugly crying.
Princess Simonova.
Oh, excuse me, Prince. I'm sorry.
I
I
took
had
the
an attack
liberty
of nerves.
I took the liberty of pouring you a mineral water.
She looks up at you, and it's like she's clearly right on the verge of crying just for the small act of kindness, but she manages to just keep it at the boiling over puppy dog face.
I
Thank you.
casually pass it to you with a handkerchief folded next to it.
Thank you. I'm afraid I've ruined mine.
I can only imagine how much pain it must be to come out into society so briefly after a period of mourning.
Yes. Oh, let us not stand on subterfuge, Prince. There's no hope for me in society.
Oh, that was certainly not the subterfuge I was engaging in.
No, you are engaging in an act of kindness and pretending that I am an ordinary girl of 22 and that things are going to get better for me, but they are not.
I wasn't going to encourage you to believe that things were going to get better. I appreciate someone who can be honest about the prospects of life in St. Petersburg.
Petersburg. It's better than the country, I guess. In some ways. I'm not so alone with my thoughts, but society here is even more vicious. And
You should consider going to New York, I think, and considering taking up a job in writing advertising copy. Petersburg, it is better than the country, I guess.
she can't help but smile a little. I don't understand. I know I hurt him, but I don't understand why he's so cruel. I know he he was in his cups, and I'm sure he didn't mean anything by it, but it felt cruel to me.
May I ask what he said?
Just that why did he come here, of all places? Here? There's nothing here for him. This bunch of daft Germans and uncouth Americans and my stepmother and... Why here? I wasn't happy, but at least I didn't feel exposed.
I'm doubly sorry for your loss then.
I know that the gospel tells us selflessness is the right thing, and Count, is it truly wicked if you do something very hurtful to someone to spare them a larger hurt?
I understand the sentiment, madam, but I am a poor confessor and believe that specifics are more important than generalities. Also, you do not need to quote the Bible to me. Or perhaps you probably do need to quote the Bible to me, but it would be appreciated if you didn't.
I always thought I was a girl. Maybe I had a naive faith. You never replied to the letter I sent you, which I'd never expected, but I also never knew if you understood it.
You are correct that I did not understand, and after speaking to Arkasha, I still don't think I truly understand. I have...
You are his friend and his confidant, and if I told you what happened, I don't know how you would react.
I am also his mentor. And if I don't understand the situation, I will probably never understand how to advise him. That is not to put that burden on you.
She gets up and she's literally wringing her hands. It feels a great... I don't know why I feel I can talk to you, but it's wicked to speak of the ill of the dead, especially when they're so newly laid in the ground, but the old Count Ilyich, he had designs upon me. And they were not welcome. I am fortunate in that he never took things to the extreme degree, but I know that he wanted to. He came very close on more than one occasion. Perhaps he thought he was justified. Perhaps he had some obscene understanding of droit de seigneur.
I am aware of the kind of predations that older men take with younger women. And there I make sure the door is open to the parlor.
You understand, after that, I couldn't tell Arkady. I had to cut off all contact with that family. The only way I could understand to preserve his honor and whatever shreds of my reputation would exist would be to just to break it with him. But it doesn't matter. Now everyone knows me as the girl who snubbed the Count. Thought she was too good for him. The paupered adopted daughter of a dead eccentric. There's no place for me anywhere here. And I accept that. I would do anything for Arkasha. I would throw myself on the flames, and I have. And he can never know. And how can I not resent him for that? For not having any kindness. I can't blame him for that, but one word, all it would be is one word. It would be like water in the desert. Succor for the dying. But the words that would make that happen, I can never utter to him.
What word is it that you want to hear?
A kind word that was meant, that was not tinged with anger. I think he hates me.
I think you may be mistaken.
I don't dare allow myself to think that, for then life would be intolerable.
I'm glad to know you are not clinging on to theological virtues, then.
I found no consolation in religion. I was told by my confessor that I must have committed some sin of Jezebel to have induced a goodly and upright man, a landowner, a liberal, a member of the Zemstva, that I must have drawn him in with some feminine temptation. It doesn't matter.
Please tell me you beat your confessor with a whip at that point.
I believe the British would say that that ain't ladylike.
The British do have a certain fondness for flogging, though. And a certain distaste for confession.
I am so sorry that I have burdened you with this, Prince. It is in poor taste at the very least.
I arrived tonight thinking I would be drowning in solely my own sorrows. And you have given my mind some ease that I am not alone in
I shouldn't
wishing that this were a kinder world.
I shouldn't have spoken anything, and I don't want you to ever speak of this to Arkady. But I'm glad I said something to someone, or I would suffer too long alone. Prince, may I beg upon your sentiments? May I write to you from time to time, if you have nothing better to do than to listen to the meanderings of a poor country girl?
Could you do me the favor of also coming by my father's estate? Preferably when he is not there, because I would not wish you to die of boredom while he speaks.
So you're asking me if I would like to spend some time away from my adopted mother and my aunt, who means well but looms like a thundercloud over the field of my life, to spend a little time alone with a friend? I believe I would find that most congenial, Prince. You are a most gallant nobleman to offer that to me.
I would prefer conversation to letters. I find putting my erratic thoughts down to be exhausting, really. And letters remind me of work.
Then I shall try and come as often as possible and write when I am not able to.
I will make it a point to, if you will send a slight notice, I will make it a point that to ensure Arkasha has on other diversions and duties when you are there.
And she puts a hand on your arm and just says, Prince, do be kind to him. He needs friends too.
I'm afraid that I'm going to be very kind to him because soon he will be making significantly more money than I will have for the rest of my life.
That is the fate of all the grand nobles of Russia in these years, I think.
I think so.
And she jumps up and kind of very impulsively wraps her arms around you. I really must get back to my aunts. Thank you, Prince.
Of course. Madam. And he just gives you the nod.
Thank you, Richard. That was lovely. So I guess we're in reputation. I took the liberty of working on that while we were away. So my new tags are true-hearted, which is positive, just in case you were wondering, and spiteful. And don't forget, if you hover over the little positive and negative header,
I think
it
I
will
have to
tell
take
you
a
what you
negative
do.
tag. Well, no, she's higher ranking than me.
Yeah, but on
But
the
I
other
did
hand, I
act on
am a
my desire
woman.
in a way that
so-
compromised my duty and morality.
Yeah.
So if a gold digger is somebody trying to marry up, what's somebody who dates less than desirable social people?
Slumming.
Yeah, I'll say slumming it.
Mike is
So yeah, I
good.
took a negative reputation tag because obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Common,
also,
Marisha? Common?
I mean, I was a dark cloud upon the dance floor. I was a dark cloud at the dinner table. I was a dark cloud in the gardens, probably. I knocked a man's hat off his head. Like, I was not very put together
But you had fun.
for once in my life.
That's all that matters to me.
I think Victor got a positive for acting in service of duty and morality in a way to compromise his desires.
Oh God.
He's
That's going to be a real easy one for Victor to get every time.
Victor.
Well, I'd
Victor
like to
wants
do
so many
something,
things.
but my wife said I shouldn't. So
I took a positive solely because I wanted to go flirt with my best friend, but instead I was helping a couple of 20-year-olds.
you're playing agony aunt to a weepy princess.
Can your positive tag be who's your daddy?
No.
Because you're everyone's fucking daddy.
I was also being agony aunt to a weepy prince, or a weepy count.
You are also my daddy, let's be clear.
Maybe by the end of it, Arkasha will have 2 daddies.
Oh, 2 daddies for him.
From 0 to 2. That's, yeah.
And let's be clear, it was always 0.
That was okay that I pushed to the further to the limit what Ilya was doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have been cool no matter how far you went with that. Because men are in this period extra super duper
I mean,
terrible.
we didn't talk about it, but I don't have a problem with a line on sexual assault. But
I would have told you if I think anybody in this room would have told you if you crossed it.
he walked right up to whatever line we draw and was like trying to lean over it. So, all right, I guess there's nothing left for it but to write some letters. Oh God, help us all. Please, somebody have a letter.
Why do you have one that you don't want to write?
Here is a bundle of unsaid of unvoiced longing.
I've got one.
Do it.
To the Count Arkady Ilyich Karavazov.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, from Svetlana Stanislavovna, Kalganova. My dear Count, I do apologize for the fact that it seems your box seats tickets have been misplaced recently. I'll be sure to contact someone to arrange that they be restored, of course. Although I do want to warn you, it could take a fair number of weeks for this clerical error to be worked out. In the meantime, if you would so like to engage in a private recital, I can be found at my usual apartments at the Hotel X, blah, blah, blah. I must admit that the ball that we attended was not quite what I was expecting. However, I am nothing if not magnanimous in my efforts to mend any broken bridge. I would very much like to smooth over any particular feelings or desires you may have that you wish to air in a more private discussion. I'm sure that we could arrange something that can work all of those cares away. Yours sincerely, Sveta.
I'm going to wing it. I've not thought of what's going into this letter, much like Sergei has not thought of what's going into this letter.
Are you writing to Victor Sviatoslavich Volkonsky?
I am writing to Victor Sviatoslavich Volkonsky.
Sviatoslavich.
From Prince Sergei Leonidovich Zinoviev. And I'm back to my pretense that I think I've had since we were children of referring to everybody by their Italian name because French was fashionable and I was bohemian in my head. Defying fashion, but still pretentious as fuck. So I'm back to Vincentore. I won't be crass and vulgar and use the English Victor with a C of all things. And it begins with a long set of apologies for not being able to meet up and discuss anything with you at that damn German American ball. And there are quotes around the word ball. But I'm afraid that two younger friends of mine have found themselves in some degree of distress that prevented me from coming to find you. I would like to talk to you at some point in the very near future, my friend, because it seems I have been disinherited, disinherited, open parentheses, by letter, if I do not meet certain absurd conditions, and that I have no intention of submitting myself to. I do not suppose you need an agent in Europe, or really in Siberia, or really anywhere. I would like to talk to you about placing myself at your family's disposal. Also, it would be a great privilege to resume conversations that we have not been able to have for some years. You were much missed while I was in Europe, and I do hope to pick up on topics that I've long sought your opinion on. We'll find a time, I'm sure, but I'm looking forward to it eagerly. Your dear friend, Sergio.
Yalta, May the 1st, 1864. From Clara Sergeyevna Katasova. My darling boy, mon cher fils, Arkasha, my light, my love. Your mother's enjoying herself immensely. Mama has decided to take the privilege of old people and widows and spend the spring in Yalta congregating with other harpies like myself. I've had the chance to reacquaint myself with the charming and delightful Princess Daria Volhova. You should meet her son one day. I'm sure you two would get along famously. And she is, of course, charming and wicked company and much to my own taste. But she tells me the most interesting things that she has heard as far away as Moscow about you and that girl. What are they calling her? The swallow, the sparrow, whatever ridiculous Italian nickname they're giving her. Really, cher fils, light of my life, sun of my mood of my night, and sun of my dawning. It is not a woman's place to speak to a young gentleman about his affairs, nor is it a mother's place to pay particular attention to these things. I understand you're young, and trust me, your father, it looks like she wrote Ilya at one point and then obliterated it harshly with ink. Your father certainly was not the most dutiful of husbands, but all the way to Moscow, Arkady. All the way to Moscow. I must beg that if you're that while you sow your wild oats, that you have some more discretion than to take up with some opera-singing trollop. You are not a 40-year-old bachelor, nor are you a 35-year-old landowner with 3 children and a wife gone all to seed. You have not earned this privilege, and you're only damaging yourself. I note also as well that you have not yet applied at any ministry for a career, nor considered a career in the guards, as I recommended you, nor have decided to take up some kind of a literary profession. And in fact, you are wasting away in our St. Petersburg apartments, mooning over opera singers, and in short, enjoying yourself in the crudest of all possible fashions. Again, it is not for me to criticize. You must live your life. You're a young man and full of animal spirits. But there is a point. It is unseemly, lest you end up with either the reputation of a blackguard that your father earned in discreet circles, or you end up as some wild eccentric like that again, a name that's been crossed out, and just that girl you knew who was so cruel to you and had such an eccentric father. Do write me and tell me how you are doing and how you plan to resolve these issues that I raised with you in the purest spirit of motherly devotion and correction, and expecting you to have the proper filial attitude towards her gentle advice. You are the one true star, the pull on the needle of my compass. I adore you and would do anything for you, my child. Your loving mother, Clara.
I'm gonna pass out.
All the way to Moscow.
All the way to, but certainly I don't presume. Whew. Okay, I have a letter. Yeah. Okay, from Count Arkady Ilyich Karavasov to Svetlana Stanislavovna Kalganova. My dear Madam Kalganova, I do apologize if I have somehow made it seem as though I were able to be free of myself with you. But as it has been recently pointed out to me by my mother along with others, my duty lies to my family and to my name. I regret the loss of my box seats. And if you are able to get those tickets back to me, I would appreciate it. But if I never hear another person sing again, it will be a fair sacrifice for the love and respect of my mother and of the people to whom I owe so much. I hope that you can appreciate that I enjoy your company. Your wit and beauty make you highly sought after, and I am sure that you will not mourn the loss of yet one more admirer. I will not be able to join you in private as you have requested, and hope that we can maintain good social odor despite any misunderstanding between the two of us. Yours quite sincerely, Count Ilyich Karabasov.
Well, this is obviously just going to be a clean breakup, and nothing bad is going to come from this.
It's going to go really badly, you guys. I just like put a grenade under my own pillow. Are you breaking up? Yeah, I am. I am breaking up with you. I'm so sorry.
I think Victor's gonna reply to Sergei. Dear Sergio, you need not apologize for having passed by me at that American fete, so to speak. It was quite a loud night full of distractions, and you'd be forgiven for perhaps getting distracted. Although, judging by what you've said, you have no doubt employed your good senses to the plight of others. And for that, I can only hope that those others have been greatly comforted by your presence, as it does for me of late. I would very much like to speak with you once more. Perhaps, maybe not where you expect. For when we last spoke, you suggested that I should travel, or well, that I need to travel. And I had not thought it would become an attractive option for me, but it seems whatever I'm doing with Marina has not made any headway, so perhaps a more drastic option will suffice. I'm tempted to take a train, my dear friend. Any train out of Russia, perhaps. And should we speak, perhaps, well, perhaps I may well send a ticket after you and we speak perhaps warmer climes, colder climes, I'm not sure. I've seen the rest of the world on a map and I've yet to see it truly. You have, though, so you may know better than I do. Oh, perhaps I'm far too old to do something terribly impulsive, although I have some friends in Petersburg who would say otherwise. But I am sorely tempted that by the time you respond to this, perhaps I would have already taken a train and I'm halfway to Siberia or Iberia, whichever one of those ends. Would you think it foolish to just steal away in the night and see how everyone responds? After all, that's not what they would expect of me to be. That is a young man's game, to be foolish. But I denied myself the chance to be foolish. Maybe I just need to catch up. Out of character, this is me trying to like decide. Do I want to commit? Do I want to make Victor run away? And just like, oh, it would not be completely foolish. Sure, I would leave, but well, Marina is incredibly self-sufficient. Lev perhaps less so, but he's self-sufficient in his own way. The company would still move on. I'll put young Kovalyov in charge. I know he's more interested in building his theater, but he needs to get back into the realm of business these days. I don't know if you saw at the American party, but there was a moment when I caught Marina laughing, and I believe I was juggling. I was trying to hold 3 bottles of champagne at that moment, and her and her sister were sharing a moment. And perhaps it has been too long since I remember ever sharing a moment such as like that with her. And I'm hoping maybe some time away would jog my memory. I'll write to you again soon, and then perhaps you'll know where my mind's landed. I'll talk to you soon, I suppose, whether in Russia or anywhere else in the world. Yours, sorry, what was it? Vittorio. And I think like because everyone else out character was like nodding, yes, I think this envelope is like the address is not not in Russia.
I have a letter from Raisa Stanislavovna Yashvina to Marina Stanislavovna Volkonskaya. Dear Marina, now that you have tasted a little bit of joy, I am officially inviting you to come to the summer house and spend some time. Bring the children. Bring your doting husband if you so choose, but this invitation can just be for you alone. What I suggest is that I bring over some of my more raucous lady friends. We have tea, we do a little bit of dancing, and perhaps read some of the latest French poetry that a friend has brought over from the continent. What I'd like to do, dear, is to, now that you have had a joyful aperitif, if you will, to feed you a whole meal, and hope you can keep it down. I saw you at that party the way that I remember you from when we were children. I saw you smiling and laughing. I saw you joining me in ridiculous games, and I know that perhaps you are now rolling your eyes and thinking that being around me makes you seem somewhat less respectable. But darling, when you have the place in society that you and I have, being respectable past a certain point becomes boring. And as a paragon of society, I can say this to you. When one has enough money or connections to those who have enough money, one can be as outlandish as one chooses. So do come, bring the children. I will make sure that there are days of entertainments for the two of us and several hours for you to try and browbeat me out of various activities, and we shall see what we shall see. Much love, yours, Raya. P.S. If you do decide to bring Victor, I will make sure that there's a model for him to build or some such thing. Kisses.
That was great. I need to just follow that one up right away. To Victor from Marina. Victor, I have received a letter from Raya that details all sorts of very bad ideas that I must immediately go stop her from pursuing. The invitation had been offered at some point for me to go stay out there anyway, and I think that it would be a good use of my time to take the children and send them to a few museums or something. Their education here is sorely lacking. I have decided to leave this afternoon. I will be stopping by the house to see if I can collect Vera and spirit her away as well. Feel free to join us at your leisure. I expect that you will need no more than 2 weeks to resolve the various different business meetings that you have in your day planner. I have spoken with your secretary to make sure that he's aware that I would like your presence sooner rather than later, though I shall not bother to steal you away from business sooner than that. Please write in advance to make sure that we can adequately prepare rooms for you. Raya is sometimes not the best hostess, and I want to make sure that everything is to your liking. P.S. I have included a pamphlet that Raya had sent along as well. I didn't bother to look at it because you know I'm not really the poetry kind, but perhaps you of more artistic temperaments might find it appealing. Marina. And then I would love to note that this letter is sitting unopened on your desk as you have already departed.
St. Petersburg, July the 2nd, 1864, to the Prince Sergei Leonidovich Zinoviev. In halting Italian with frequent Russian glosses and the occasional verb conjugated in French instead of Italian. Caro Sergio, it's midsummer and I am writing to you from Petersburg. I have been here now for almost 6 weeks since Tantine Marina picked me up and dragged me here, but I confess that I find myself liking this smelly, badly cluttered city with its traffic of carriages and horses and hawkers and tinkers and impoverished factory workers, and in short, a grand panoply of this modern life that somehow has struck deep into the heart of Russia. You perhaps do not recall that my foster father, Prince Pyotr, was a Novgorodsky, and I grew up in that city. Novgorod is not anything like Petersburg. It's just so old. Everything is a monument to something or the other, and everyone claims that they're descended from Alexander Nevsky, though, of course, the irony is that Prince Pyotr was, in fact, descended very distantly from Alexander Nevsky. I never found that it filled me with any great patriotism, just made me wish to do anything to avoid joining the relics on the shelf. You were very kind to have me over during spring, and the dinners we shared during Great Lent were a comfort to me. I can remember my father, the prince. He was not a religious man, but he always made a point during Great Lent to go to the old people's houses and to the peasant villages and make sure that the little village priests were well paid and that there was some present or gift for the elders. It was simpler. Everything seemed simpler back then. Your friend, our mutual friend, is in Petersburg as well, but I have not seen him. He and I are in different circles. I do not go to the opera. I understand that he is gaining a reputation, but is trying to amend it. I don't know. Lev Volkansky has become a great friend of his. together. I understand that they visit gambling salons and other such places that I'm sure I wouldn't know anything about. I feel badly. I think he's lost, and I can't help but blame myself, but I try and remember that there was no way out other than that. I appreciated very greatly the books you sent me. I find the Decameron is difficult going, but some of the more modern things I find myself able to comprehend more and more every day. And I think sometimes when I feel that the sun has gotten to my head, perhaps that I would like to visit Italy, but I don't know. I suppose I could advertise for a traveling companion. Such things are done now. Even proper Russian ladies do them. I'll tell you a great wickedness I did tonight. Given that it's the longest day of the year, I went out on the Nevsky Prospect, unaccompanied, like some common opera singer. It was very late. It was perhaps 2 a.m. by the tolling of the bells in the churches. The great city was hushed around me, yet still so brilliantly lit by the invisible sun. There was a pearlescent brilliance hanging in the air all around me, and I stared out over the Gulf of Finland and felt the salt air in my face. And do you know, for some 5 or 6 or 7 minutes, I completely forgot myself and everything that I have done wrong and all that I have lost. And it was just me and this one seabird hanging against the brilliant white sky. It made me think of you, strangely enough. I don't know why. Please excuse my foolishness. It's 4 a.m. I am sleepless and full of strange, bustling energy. I suppose there's nothing else for it but to wait for the servants to awake and then send for strong Italian coffee in the style that you've taught me to appreciate, and then drink more cups of tea and try and fight sleepiness until I can take a nap in the afternoon. Please do write when you have a chance and visit us in Petersburg if you can. I promise you that my mother is not an ogre, and my Aunt Raiza will not bite your head off either. Yours most fondly, Vera.
To Arkady Karavasov from Sergei Zinoviev. My dearest Arkady, I'm afraid that's like so many plans that we make, my intention to bring you on into a professional career that would allow you to return to Europe has been postponed for what I am hoping will be a very brief period of time. I am afraid that as much as I had hoped to come spend some time with you in St. Petersburg has been postponed. I will be passing through the city briefly early in the morning of June 22nd, but I know you are a late riser by reputation and because it is a harbinger of a life of virtue. I will be on the continent, perhaps, I think, but I am not really sure exactly where I will be. I do appreciate it if you will check in periodically at my family's St. Petersburg house, and if there are any letters from my father addressed to me, that you dispatch them in the usual manner. He is so cheap with his choice of choice of stationery. I do not think you need to add an accelerant to get them to burn. Do not under any circumstances forward anything from my family onto me. Unless it is from my brother, and you have previously assured that it is solely an offer of employment for myself or for you, either one. Otherwise, I will see you hopefully in a few short weeks. There's something I must do. Also, Arkady, I have promised many things to you and to others, and I intend to keep my word on all those promises. But I do hope that, much like a good business negotiation in other areas of your life, underlined other areas of your life, you will ferociously avoid coming to preconceived, you will ferociously avoid being influenced by your preconceived notions of the truth, and learn to listen to what people are trying to avoid saying. Because the thing they are trying to, as I've often said, avoid saying is often the very most important thing they have to say. Uh, Much happiness to you in the time we are apart. I hope to rejoin you in the near future with promising prospects that will impress even your hard to please mother. Soon, yours, Sergio.
It's just me left, right? Okay, I don't know if Victor will write anything anymore. Probably sent Marina a short note saying, hi, this is what I did. Sorry. Um, Maria Ivanovna is going to write to Marina, actually. To Marina Stanislavovna Volkonskaya, it has come. I've noticed that you've spent quite a considerable amount of time with my dear daughter Vera. Do not think that did not escape my notice. After all, I'm German, and we tend to pick up on these sorts of things. Now, I know that your family, especially your husband, has been quite generous to us in our time of need. Still, though, you have been quite close to my daughter, and well, I would not mind. There are worse people for her to enjoy the company of. I only write that I hope that this constant companionship will produce a suitable match for her. After all, I'm aware of your reputation. After all, I'm German, as I've already said. I hope you will put your considerable skills then into ensuring that my dear Vera would be set for life. After all, that is the aim of a suitable match, is it not? If you can find any suitable matches, I do have a list. And I think there's also like a sheaf of paper of like more German nobles, noble families. Some of them are in Moscow, some are in Petersburg, etc., etc. Perhaps we could talk this over in a more personal matter sometime soon. I'll gladly await your reply. Yours. I think like she does write Wilhelmina. Yeah, I think she'll write Wilhelmina Semyonovna.
Okay, so we are in upkeep. This is good. So, folks, inner conflicts. Serafina and I have grabbed ours. A reminder in this hack, checking off boxes on your inner conflict doesn't give you resolve tokens. Only secrets can do that. And by the way, I have a resolve token now. Woo-ha-ha-ha. However, every box you check off on your inner conflict lets you do one of three things: either erase a negative tag, add a positive tag, or write yourself an extra secret. up to 2. And if you need to know what those are, just hover over the inner conflict cell and it will tell you. We also have monologues that need to get done. And also, Richard, you need to take a positive reputation condition. So my inner conflict is passion versus propriety. And I have done one thing for each of them because I sacrificed my silence to Sergio, but I also pushed away Arkady. So I gave myself I got rid of spiteful because I think I'm not spiteful anymore. I'm still resentful as hell. I'm a woman in a 19th century Russian novel. Fucking hate everybody. But I believe the positive reputation tag I wanted is penitent, because people see me as, that Volkonsky, that Semyonova girl, she's not nice, but she's nice now, or she made some mistakes, but now she's nice. So that can be my scene that you're supposed to do when you get a condition. But I think she's now back into salon society. She doesn't go to balls because but people will have her over for coffee and they don't consider it a scandal.
I don't think any of us have monologued this.
Oh no, plenty of us have monologued. You and I both have monologued.
Oh, that's right. We did monologue.
Yes, we did.
We did get called upon.
Monologue. Although I do have a monologue that I want to hear very badly.
Do it.
Dear husband, what are your thoughts about your relationships with your wife and best friend as the train is pulling out of the station?
Yikes.
Before I do that, I'll just very quickly say I upkeep stuff. It's in my head. Victor's inner conflict is devotion versus self. I might change it to selfishness. Care about himself for once. And I'll take 2 boxes towards self. Took action and hurt my reputation. And I use one of those ticks to erase my negative tag of bland. And I'm going to come up with another secret, which I'll think about that for a moment. In the meantime, he's thinking as the train pulls away. I wonder if this will have even a cursory effect back home. Marina is already self-sufficient to an enormous degree, and that's why I was drawn to her. Her independence, how she's able to bend society to her will. It's awe-inspiring. It's commendable. Few are able to do that, especially one in her position. It's admirable. So how can one even try to bend them to? No, that's not even what I want to do. So is this really for her or for me? I can tell myself this is an attempt to get her attention, but no, maybe it's just for me. Maybe it's I who failed in, or failing, or wants to fail while she succeeds in wresting her own place. Maybe all I can do is run away. Is there something like this? Something I've never asked Sergio, I suppose, but I do want to know what drove him to go. It's been so long. I should have asked him that. Well, maybe I still could. He no matter what society may say, no matter what his father or anyone else might say, he is worldlier than I, who have succeeded in in other ways. I may have succeeded, but he and Marina seem so much more at peace with themselves. And I just want, I hope, I just want, I can only hope to be like them. Yeah, I think the train pulls away off to, yeah, sure, why not Italy? I'm looking at the chat there.
And the people who
I am going to ask Arkady, I think. Because Arkady and I are the only people who have not monologued.
Yes.
Yeah.
As you stood there on the dance floor after Vera left, what did you want to say?
I know that the classic failing of youth is hubris. And I am young. And all I want to do is fall on my knees and tell you that I would follow you anywhere. And I see all of the people in this room looking at me, and I recognize that you've left me alone again in full view of our peers. And I don't care.
So I guess it's left to me to talk to Sergio. Prince Zinofiev, when you're on your estate gazing out at the infinite plains of the Russian steppe, where does your heart fly?
I think I'm thinking this as I am walking down the stairs of my family's country estate. With my small personal case in hand, to have our carriage driver take me to Petersburg for the train. And it is sunset because I'm planning to get to Petersburg in the wee hours of the morning and then wait until the train departs in the very, very early morning hours. For the audience at home, early morning hours for Richard are anything before 11 a.m. And I went all that way to lose him, to forget him, to find somebody else who could make me feel the way he does. And then I came back, and now I'm going all that way again to find him. And no one's even asked me to. And I'm starting to wonder if I'm the only one who cares that he's gone. Am I going after him only to bring him back here to this great empty pretense of an empire with all its people spread out so thin? Is this what I'm dragging him back to? The place he's never really been loved? And that's when I get in the carriage.
Hey guys, we're sad Russians. Thank you everyone so much. I'm really enjoying this. I really like Vera. She's horrifyingly depressed. It's great. And all of you are so incredibly lovely. We will pick this up next week with a brand new novel chapter. Yes, maybe, just maybe we'll chase that impossible dream and get 2 novel chapters in, but probably not. And so until then, thank you all so very much, and do svidanya.
A very earnest young person, or not, no, he's not even young, and he's not even all that earnest. Sorry, let's start over. I had him confused with other characters I've played, and
Yeah, that boy, look at that. I'm going to fix this in the edit.
Daryl made a man?
Yeah, in just 7 days.
How did you make a man in just 7 days? Is your name secretly Victor?
look, the process has been established since 1975.
Oh my god.
You can't see it, but I'm throwing things at the screen. Yeah, but 19th century Yankee Americanism. So it's like, brash and it's brash and loud and bad food. Okay, so it's fine.
Not much has changed.
Yep. No. More facial hair, maybe. More creative facial hair.
Honestly, I
In
don't know what else
Petersburg, you can heat it. You can heat a house for a family of 5 with that burn.
Yeah, I don't know what else I want. I think we got it. I think we got everything we need from that. That's great. Thank you so much.
Totally.
Also, by the way, that means I revealed that my secret has been revealed.
Oh.
So now prepare for the power of this fully armed and operational resolve token.
Say hello, I'm Arkaddy. I'm Arkaddy. I have a lot of stupid feelings. I'm a big dumb boy.
Yeah, I think it's more proper to say you have a lot of feelings and they're stupid.
I have a lot of feelings. Those feelings are pretty stupid. Well, and I think
We're a fun couple, Serafina.
we're a good couple.
I mean,
We're a good
better than Kirill and Sasha.
Whew.
They were disaster queers.
They were disaster queers.
Oh boy.
I like the disaster queer vibe, though. Yes.
I mean, honestly, gay sex, falafel, and a day at the zoo.
Honestly, the only question mark there is the falafel. Like, are you sure?
Swap
good
heroin
falafel.
for gay sex, and that's basically Lou Reed's A Perfect Day.
You know, the 19th century probably have been better if fewer people swapped heroin for gay sex. So
Basically everybody would assume that you're just keeping her as your kept woman. Right. She's an opera singer, for God's sake.
I mean,
Apparently in the 19th century, that was 2 degrees up from corner sex worker. So
it was.
yeah, well,
Talk to Degas about the ballerinas, okay?
yeah, I just read a biography of Madame Pompadour, so
Oh my god, I love her so much.
there are places you can go with this. So,
I am the fuck obsessed with that woman.
she was pretty amazing.
She was incredible.
She did kind of fuck up the 7 Years' War, but
I'm down.
Hmm.
It is what it is. No woman will ever do as much for the fucked upness of war as men have. So
it was only apparent afterwards. But basically, the key to foreign policy from 1750 to 1918 was never trust the Austrians. They are incapable of doing anything correctly.
That seems correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems. I'm just from my unschooled perspective, accurate.
You really, basically, are going to colossally screw up anything you give them.
They're just trying. God bless them.
Yeah. They basically were playing the Harlem Generals or the Washington Generals to the Harlem Globetrotters if Napoleon was the Globetrotters. So, hey, we're going to defeat the Austrians again.
I've been listening to way too much of the Revolutions podcast recently. So this is like catnip to me right now.
Good stuff.
I was gonna eat a cupcake, but my wife says they're immoral, so I didn't.
I have it in this memo here.
Svyatozovich, blah 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 blah. Svyatov. Sorry,
Svyatoslavich.
It's
a good blooper reel.
Yeah, Slavich.
Victor. Hey, it's like Svyatoslavich Richter, the great pianist.
Look, honestly, I'm trying just to help this become an educational experience for the audience at home.
Yeah.
I see Leandro getting concerned. I see that concerned look. That 2 a.m. concerned look.
She didn't go in his room. What are you talking about? She just left a letter on the desk. It's fine.
Yes, she's never even seen the inside of his room.
He comes to me, okay? That's how this works.
He comes to you and you have brisk clinical sex, and then he leaves. Yeah, I don't think she's ever going to dance again. Guilty feet have got no rhythm.
I deserved that.
You did.
I did. That was mean. That was very mean to you.
I liked it. It was good.